After several days of pumping, Bitcoin has crashed back to earth, and it possibly could continue to fall. Each halving cycle is a little different, so it does stand to reason that since people were expecting Bitcoin to dump the day of the halving, which of course is tomorrow, that they decided to sell a little early, and that's okay, because this dump is a blip on the radar compared to where we are going, and today we're going to look at the big picture, and I'm going to show you how you can protect yourself and not get wrecked. Let's get it. Welcome to BitBoyCrypto News Edition. Once per day, I'm going to break down the biggest news stories in the space for you. So if you want to know where Bitcoin and altcoins are heading to, then please make sure to hit the subscribe button and join both my Telegram groups, the Bit Squad for regular crypto chat, or Bit Squad traders to discuss trading strategies. And we're going to discuss one later. All right, guys, today we are going to take a look at the markets, and I'm going to show you how not to get wrecked. So if you are wanting to learn how to trade, then please make sure to watch this video. It is going to be very helpful to you. But first, we gotta address the elephant in the room. Tomorrow is the halving. So instead of discussing regular news stories, we are going to look at the halving in depth. It's a very exciting time, but honestly, it will come and go without a lot of hoopla. The anticipation around the event will be much bigger than the event itself. I mean, after all, it's just a command executed by a computer code. By the way, I did though want to let you guys know that you can find me tomorrow on Cointelegraph's channel at 4 p.m. EST to discuss the halving with a panel of crypto influencers. But back to the topic at hand. The halving is more of a historical event that will provide perspective in the future. What I mean by this is that in 18 months from now, we will look back at this date is when Bitcoin took off. We may get another dip, but this is when the cycle we have all been waiting for begins. When the event itself occurs, it's not like we're going to be instantly rich, and you may feel like we've talked about this so much that everyone in the world knows about it, but that is simply not true. Unfortunately, Google Trends does not allow us to see the total number of searches for the term Bitcoin halving. We can only look at it in terms of comparing it to the previous halving. So when the last one occurred, we had 3 times less searches for Bitcoin halving than we have during the cycle. So yes, 3 times more people search for the halving. But did you know about Bitcoin in 2016? Most likely you didn't. While we are now seeing a surge of new people coming into crypto, 2017 brought crowds of people as well. Unfortunately, many of them hodled to the bottom and got absolutely wrecked. Many of them are gone forever. But the point is that there was never a surge of people to crypto or Bitcoin before 2017. So when we say 3 times more people search for Bitcoin halving this year as opposed to 2016, doesn't mean it's a lot of people. If you're watching this video, then you are early to this space. Congrats on that. Tomorrow will be the day that many future investors will look at and say, man, if only I could have gotten into Bitcoin during this time, I could be so rich. In fact, most of the people who became rich in the last cycle came way toward the end of the bull run. Fortunately, the upside was so vast that people still managed to make a lot of money. But for the most part, even those who got rich then missed out on an even larger opportunity. If they would have invested immediately following the halving that occurred in July of 2016, they would have gotten mega rich. And that's the opportunity that lies in front of us right now. But why am I so sure about this? You see, Bitcoin runs like a clock. Over a long period of time, it's very predictable. Over the short term, we have a hard time determining exactly what Bitcoin is going to do. That's why one day I may tell you people are predicting Bitcoin will double within the week. And then the very next day, Bitcoin dumps and people say it will drop 50%. I know it can be confusing. And these drops are not for the faint of heart. In a second, I'm going to show you how to prevent losing a ton of money on those drops if you want to trade, so make sure to stick around. But I want to show you an incredible display of Bitcoin's predictability. You have to understand, when we talk about the date for the halving, this is not a set in stone day. Contrary to popular belief, the halving is not every 4 years. It's actually every 210,000 blocks. So it's really about every 3.75 years on average, but it's not a hard date. For a long time, it looked like the halving date was going to be on May 12th. But due to all the excitement and miners trying to get in those last blocks at the higher rate, it will now occur tomorrow on the 11th. May 12th, though, has been the predicted date for about as long as we've talked about the halving, which has basically been almost a year now. The fact that Bitcoin is going to half block rewards within 24 hours of the predicted time is a beautiful picture of why we can trust Bitcoin to be stable and predictable over the long haul. When the price of Bitcoin soared above 10K in February, it looked like the halving date would be much earlier, maybe even as early as April. Like 2 weeks ago, it would have already happened. Miners were pounding out blocks and people were excited, but then we experienced the crash near the middle of March. And this threw a wrinkle into everything, as you know. Suddenly, we were talking about, is this the end for Bitcoin? And look, when we experienced the second biggest Bitcoin crash in history, it was hard not to think Bitcoin was heading to sub 3K prices, possibly even triple digits. But through this crisis, Bitcoin has showed its resilience and has came out swinging like a champ. But when the crash occurred, something very interesting happened. We saw miners turning off their rigs, and suddenly the halving date started moving further away instead of closer. It started out at May 12th, moved to May 13th, then fell all the way to May 16th. People were literally asking me if Bitcoin may not go through the halving until next year now. So I know those people probably did not really know much about Bitcoin mining or the halving to think that, but people were scared. And the estimated date was moving backwards. But what happened? Bitcoin started pumping again, and the days started moving closer. And here we are, about to see the halving tomorrow, within 24 hours of its original predicted date. Sometimes I wonder if Bitcoin is possibly AI from the future. That is one theory people have. The stock-to-flow chart we've looked at many times shows this predictability, and it shows Bitcoin going to $280,000 in the next 2 years. So hold on. Don't think about these drops that we've had. Think about the future and how glad you're going to be that you are an early adopter. Okay, guys, so where is Bitcoin heading to in the short term? Like I said earlier, it's a little unpredictable, but we do know with our FOMO trender indicator here, it has been very solid for telling us when to sell and when to buy. And now look at this, guys. As you guys can see right here, we are now beginning a buy trend. So we could be looking to go long here. However, these shaded areas, as the FOMO Trender Companion shows us, that we're actually in a sell zone here, even though we've started a buy trend. What that means is this is not the best time to get in yet, but it's probably coming very soon. As soon as this shaded area turns to green, we pounce. We want to get in on a long because the price is probably going up. So if you're wondering what's happening in the short term, the halving's tomorrow. Now, we could go through a buy trend overnight. It could switch to a sell tomorrow, but we are probably about to see Bitcoin start to pump again. Now, here's the thing. I've been talking to you guys about not getting wrecked in this video, telling you, and I'm going to explain to you how you don't get wrecked when you leverage trade. Over $275 million in Bitcoin longs were liquidated on BitMEX. We do not want this. We do not want liquidation to be in our vocabulary. Anyone who gets liquidated is gambling. We do not want to gamble if you want to be a successful trader, okay? Because when you get liquidated, that means you were going on a trade without a stop loss. And when you look back at Bitcoin and you see giant candles like this that go from 95.91 all the way down to 81.59, there's virtually no way, unless you were in a 1x or a 2x or maybe a 3x trade, that you would not get liquidated. But we use stop losses. This is how we prevent this. If you're interested in leverage trading, you want to get it on Bybit, the link is on the screen, bybit.bitboy.live. I've got a special promotion hopefully coming up with them pretty soon. But I want to show you guys how to use a stop loss on Bybit, because I've been getting messages from people that jump into trading and they just lose all their money. They get liquidated. We do not want that. We want to hedge our risk. So we do this with a stop loss. Okay, so right now I've got about, I think, 0.09 BTC in this trading account. This is an account I use to show you guys how to trade. So right here, what you want to do is I like to use 10x leverage. 10x leverage is a good amount. When you use stop losses, you can't get liquidated. So it doesn't really matter where you put your leverage, you will not get liquidated. But what is going to change when you use a stop loss and a different amount of leverage is the wiggle room that you have before your stop loss gets hit. So I find 10x to to be kind of in the middle of what I like to do. Sometimes I go 25x. Usually if I ever go 50x, I almost always get wrecked. I can never pick a good 50x spot. I've made several huge 25x trades. 5x is when I'm feeling pretty conservative. I don't really go less than that. I'm always ranging somewhere between 5 and 25. Now, what you're going to want to do, what I do personally, this is not financial advice, I bet my whole account on every single trade. Now, why do I do this? Because I'm not really betting the whole amount. I'm using a stop loss, so I'm controlling the amount that I can lose, but I want to maximize my wins, so I'm using my whole trading account. So right now, like 0.9 BTC in this account here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit 100% and I'm going to hit buy long. Now, you never want to leave this screen here in different leverage trading platforms, FEMAX, whatever. They're all going to have something similar to this. You never want to leave this without clicking your stop loss. You do not want to hit confirm because, you could become a meme is what I'm trying to say. You could become a meme where you just hit confirm and then immediately it wicks and you lose all your money. You don't want that. That is possible. It does happen. I've seen it happen before for some other people. So don't ever click this down here that says do not show confirmation window. You want this. Take profit. We can talk about taking profit in a different video. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click stop loss. When you click stop loss, you have two different options. You can either put in the amount that you want for your stop loss, or you can type in 5%, 15%, 25%. In this case, the most you could lose out of your account would be this percentage. You could lose 25% if the price of Bitcoin went down to 85.51 and you were on a 10x long. So I'm actually not long right now because I'm waiting for that shaded box to pop up on FOMO Trender, as we talked about before, waiting for this red to turn to green. So I'm not actually going to execute a trade right now. But when I do execute a trade, maybe later tonight, I'm going to click probably 5%. Usually what I do is I look for about 5% losses. I can handle those very, very easily. But then I'm going to tweak it. So 87.25, that is not that bad of a number. But sometimes what we'll see is we'll see it drop down and then bounce off support. Like, the big numbers when we're around in this like 7 to 10K number, the round numbers are usually kind of levels of support. So 8,700, if it dropped down to 8,700, we could see it bounce back up. So I don't want to get stopped out if it wicks down to 8,700. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it at about 86.10 and see what that gets me. Okay, so if I put it at 86.10, well, that didn't work. I don't know why. I got to unclick this. I'm going to unclick the 5% here. I'm going to start over. So I'm going to put it at 86.90. Now, this would put me losing 8.57%, but I'm more protected against a wick down to 8,700. Because if it wicks down, and it wicks down past 8,700 and goes past 86.90, it's probably dumping. So I'm okay with that. If everything I'm waiting for a trade would line up. You don't want to put it at 8,700, because if you put it at 8,700 flat, a lot of times that wick is going to come down, hit that, liquid or stop loss you out, stop you out, and then move back up. And I want to be protected against that. So I want to be protected against wicks that can prevent me from making money on trades. But most importantly, I want to prevent myself from getting liquidated. And that is why I'm going to use a stop loss on every single trade. I will tell you this. I have had some huge losses because I did not click this box. It's stupid. Do as I say, not as I do. Sometimes I do something stupid and I will not click stop loss. That's a weakness for me where I get emotional. I think, you know what, sometimes like I just really feel like I want to be protected against a wick because I know the price is going up. I get wrecked every single time. So over time, what I've learned how to do is to click this button. Now, sometimes you can, like, let's say we execute this trade right now. I'm going to go ahead and execute it just to show you guys for an example. I'm going to hit confirm. Now, what you can do, well, the price changed, so let me do it again here. Okay, so let me just throw it at 5%. So what I might do sometimes is gosh, this is being so annoying right now. The price changes so quick. Okay, so once you have a trade going, as you can see right here, what you can do is, you guys see I haven't made a trade in this account today. It's the first one. That negative 596 or 6, that's like a fee that came with the order. So what I'm going to do is you can actually come over here, see this little pencil, and you can click this, and you can tweak your take profit or your stop loss at any given moment. You can also use trailing stop losses and trigger prices. We can talk about that on a different video as well. But So I will do this with take profit. Sometimes with take profit, I will go ahead and let the trade execute, and then I'll come down here and click this. But you do not want to do this. You do not want to execute a trade without clicking the stop loss. That is how you protect yourself from getting wrecked. So I hope you guys enjoyed this portion of the video, learned a little bit about leverage trading. But now it's your turn. Are you anticipating Bitcoin to dump after the halving, or do you feel like we just experienced it? Are you interested in trading? If so, make sure to drop those comments down below as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please make sure to smash the like button and hit subscribe to become a member of the fastest growing community in crypto, the Bit Squad. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. BitBoy out.